assalamu alaikum and welcome to Dinpreneurs. And today we have on the next episode, we have a special guest. This is brother Mohammed Qahtani, joining from Saudi Arabia, and he is 2015 Toastmaster World Speaking Champion. MashaAllah, he's an inspiration to all of us. I got inspired from his speeches, and I cannot do the justice introducing him myself, so I'm gonna give the word to the man himself. Assalamu alaikum, brother Muhammad. Welcome.
Alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's an honor to have you. So let's start with a little bit brief intro, what you do and who you are, a little bit, but then we dive into your life story, inshallah. Tell us a little bit.
My name is Mohammed Qahtani. I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia. I am a cybersecurity engineer. I work for an oil company as a cybersecurity engineer. I joined Toastmasters in 2010, so it's like 13 years ago. And in 2015, I was able to win the World Championship of Public Speaking. I'm still the only Arab and only Muslim to ever win this title, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And since then, I've given TED Talks. I have spoken in more than 45 countries all over the world. And I still to this day do a lot of speaking and a lot of coaching.
That's amazing. Thank you for the quick intro. So as we're mentioning in this episode and interview, usually what we do is that we see that Mohammed Qahtani, the world champion, mashallah, he's a coach and all this good stuff. And one of the things we do in the interview episode is that what makes him tick? How did this come to be? The backstory. So we're gonna go back to
Sure.
all the hard work, right? Which makes you who you are today, which people don't talk in this days, social media, like you see the superficiality. So tell us, we will go back, way back. So tell us, if you go back at Brother Muhammad, when you were a kid, that's when you're growing up. Let's say if you go back, what are the memories that come to your mind? What do you think that affected you, that influenced you to who you are today? If you just go back way back.
The earliest memory that I have, I was in first grade, and I was seated in the front of the class, and a teacher walks in, and he placed a book in front of me, and he asked me to start reading. And when I started to read, I stuttered a lot, and he slapped my face.
Wow.
And he said, "Are you stupid or something? Read again." And I tried to read again, and I started again, and he slapped my face again. And he said, "What is wrong with you, boy?" I said, "Read again." And with tears in my eyes, I tried again, and I still stuttered. And he stopped me, and he said, "You know what? There's no hope out of you." And he gave the book to another student. And it's at that point I realized that I have this speech impediment problem. I have a really bad stuttering problem, and I had an option, or I had two choices. Either I can face the problem that I have and overcome it, or I can just ignore it and try to avoid it. And the mistake that I made at that young age is I chose the easy road, which is let me just keep my mouth shut. And that's how I spent my entire childhood all the way until high school. I had no childhood friends. I couldn't speak to anybody, not even my brothers and sisters. I used to lock myself in my room by myself because I truly believed what that teacher said, that there is no hope out of me. And I felt ashamed, and I felt less than everybody else. And that all changed in the last year of high school. I remember one day I was leaving school, and this other student came to me, and he tapped my shoulder. And when I looked over, he said, I don't think I ever heard you speak in school. And I remember I took a piece of paper and I scribbled on it the words, "I cannot speak." And he told me, "Actually, I think you can. Your problem is you're afraid, or you have this fear. But if you want, I can help you. I can tell you what is the cure." So I nodded yes. And he said, if you want to overcome any kind of fear, you need to face the ultimate form of that fear. And I didn't know what he meant. And he said, tomorrow morning, ask the principal to read the morning announcements in front of the entire school. And I promise you, this will be your cure. So the next day, because out of like desperation, when you're like, if you're a person who's really like desperate and somebody tried to help you or throw you a lifeline, you will hang on to it even if it doesn't make sense. So I took his advice and I went to the principal and I said, I would like to read the morning announcement, and he gave it to me. And I stood in front of 400 students. And when I opened my mouth, I stuttered again. And I still remember it distinctively. I still remember everybody laughing at me. And it hits me that the one thing that I was avoiding my entire life, I voluntarily walked right into it. Why? Just because a person gave me an advice? What's wrong with me?
Hmm.
And I
So
remember
you must
during
have felt
recess,
betrayed. You must have felt
I,
betrayed.
I felt like, I'm like, this guy just wanted to make a mock out of me, and he just tricked me into this. So during recess, I went to the same student and I said, I hope you're happy now. Like, I hope you satisfied your sick pleasures. Like you saw everybody laughing at me. And he said, Mohammed, success doesn't happen from the first time. Nobody ever makes it from the first time. You need to try more and more and more. You need to taste failure first in order to taste what success is. He said, go back and try again. And I don't know why I listened to him again. So the next morning I tried again.
You must be very
and I
convincing
started again.
person.
And I started again, and everybody laughed at me again. The day after that, I did the same. Everybody laughed at me again. But I noticed that some of the words that I used to stutter in yesterday, I don't stutter in anymore. So he was right. This is my cure. And that was my first, that's when I first I fell in love with speaking. To me, it was a way to overcome the stuttering problem that I have. For me, it was the remedy that I actually needed. And I remember when I was in college, I used to go to college in the morning, and then at night I used to go to stand-up comedy clubs, and I learned quickly how to do jokes and make people laugh, because I thought to myself, hey, if the audience, I mean, like, if they're gonna laugh anyways, they might as well laugh with me and not laugh at me. So
I like that. I like that. So that's beautiful. I mean, that's a very beautiful story. So your first class that you got this teacher kind of takes away your hopes and dreams. You believe in that story, in that version. I just want to ask a
yeah,
quick question. So you said you didn't speak. You actually kind of literally stopped speaking at all, like probably
yes,
minimal. Wow. That must have
yep,
been a lot of things that bottled up all these years until high school. And
yeah, I
then
know.
interesting.
I feel
So go ahead. You want to say?
no. Like I feel like like when I see people and they're talking about their childhood friends, and I envy them because I've never had any childhood friends, just because I was avoiding everybody else.
I mean, no one would ever thought that you had these problems when you were speaking. Like, great. So that's going to be interesting talk right away. I can tell. So tell me this. So you finish high school, like Muhammad now finishing high school and going to go to college or university, right? So that's what we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
How did you move about? Did you choose something you like, or did you something you that everybody goes, or did something you go for and where your parents wanted? Because especially in the Muslim families, there are
Yeah.
different
Well,
tangents. So
I've always wanted to become a doctor, and when I finished high school, I was like one of the top students in my school, and I was able to get into, like, I did apply into like medical school, and I got accepted. But then my dad, he also entered my name into this scholarship program where I get a chance to study in the United States. And when I got accepted in that as well, I thought to myself, well, you know what? This is a chance for me to kind of begin a new life with people I don't even know, and
mhm.
try something new. So I took that chance and I studied in the United States for 4 years. And I used to, as I said, just go to school and just go to school in I mean, like in the morning, and at night I would frequent stand-up comedy clubs and do some routines, and I quickly learned how to write jokes and how to do stand-up comedy bits, and that time actually helped me because during the entire 4 years of college, I didn't stutter a lot at all. The whole stuttering thing was gone,
I see.
and I thought that I was completely cured. But what happened next is I graduated, I came back to Saudi Arabia, and I got a job. And for the first like 4 or 5 years, I wanted to really prove myself. So I dived right into my work, and I put all of my energy in my work, and I stayed away from speaking
Mhm.
for like 4 or 5 years. And during this time, I was working in a really big, like project. And at the end of the project, they wanted me to present it to the board of the company. So in my head, I thought presenting is now like a piece of cake to me because I've stood in front of an audience a lot of times. So it should be just like a walk in the park. But when I stood there and I started presenting and I started to make mistakes, I was stuttering even more.
Interesting.
And what I realized is no matter what kind of talent that you have, because everybody is blessed with a talent. God has given each one of us a special talent. But if you don't use it, if you don't practice it, don't think it's gonna stick around.
Mm.
Anything that you don't do it on a regular basis and you don't practice, you're definitely gonna lose. Even if you are an expert in it, if you don't do it on a regular basis, you are going to lose it. Don't think just because you are master in something that it's gonna always stick around and like be there. You
I
have to
see.
do it over and over again. Yeah,
So it's like, as they say, use it or lose it. So that's what happened.
exactly. Yes, exactly.
I see. That was interesting. So how did you find that? Like you were speaking normal in US, no issues. Now you're back at your work, you cannot present. What did you do? Which story you
So,
gonna believe now? Oh, I am back where I am, or I'm gonna do something about it.
well, I mean, like I prepared the presentation, and then when I started speaking, I made a mistake, and then I stuttered. And when I tried to speak even more, I stuttered even more, and I actually made a like to the point that my boss at the time stopped me and he said, "You know what? I'll take it over from here." And he presented instead of me, and I thought, "Wait a minute! Like this is not the first time for me to stand in front of an audience. I've done this before. Why is it hard now? And what?" And the stuttering came back again.
Mhm.
And even when I was talking to people, like even when I was talking to people like one on one, I used to stutter more. Even now when I'm talking to you, if you notice, there's just a little bit of stammering is still in there. And that's actually what drove me to join Toastmasters because I realized that I need to get back to speaking again,
Mhm.
and I needed a platform where I can speak on a regular basis, and that's what Toastmasters gave me. It gave me the opportunity to speak every single week on something new that I can write and then present in front of people and get evaluated on. So when I joined like Toastmasters back in 2010 and I started speaking again, I started to give my groove back, and I started to get the confidence that I used to have. And so that was really the reason why I joined Toastmasters is because I wanted an opportunity to speak on a regular basis so I can overcome the stuttering that I now got back after I thought that I lost it.
That's beautiful. And I think we both know what Toastmasters is. For those who don't know, would you like to give a brief intro, who they are, what they stand for, and how they can
So,
join if they want to?
so like Toastmasters is a non-profit organization. It was an organization founded in 1924, I guess.
Mhm.
And right now, there's about maybe 12,000 clubs all over the world. And in these clubs, you get to practice speaking and leadership skills. And the beautiful thing about like Toastmasters is not a person who teaches you. You you teach yourself by practicing. So You write a speech, you stand and you give the speech to your club members, and then at the end, another club member will evaluate you and tell you what they like and what you could have improved on. So the next time you speak, you just correct these like mistakes, and every time you get there, you learn something new just by trying it out. And I've been in Toastmaster for 13 years now, and I could say with all honesty, it has changed my life tremendously, not just as a speaker, but also as a leader. Because like one of the things that also Toastmaster teaches you is how you can be in charge. Imagine if you are like in your line of work, for example, and you are placed in I mean like in a position where you get to give orders to people. A lot of us they don't even know how to do that. Like how can you be firm but at the same time get people to follow you? You can practice even that talent in a Toastmaster club by being, for example, the president of the club, where you can actually tell people what to do and they just listen to you. So it's it's like a laboratory where you can practice these soft skills. So when you take it to the real world, you know it's going to work.
That's beautifully put. You know,
I'm sorry to interrupt. And if you are interested to join, you can just go to their website at www.toastmasters.org. And when you go to the website, there's an option where you can find the club near you. You can put your like zip code or the place that you're in, and it will show you all the clubs around you. And you can just click on any of them, see where they meet, what time they meet, and you can just contact them and say, "I would like to be or like to join your club as a guest just to see how it is." And then if you like the environment of the club, then you can join.
thank you for sharing that information. You know, now with talking about Toastmaster, just giving me the back memories when I first joined the club, and it was, I remember like 5 years ago. I think for me it was at least 5 years ago. I was back in Denmark. The one of the things about Denmark is that it's not easy to have friends. You know, like
Yeah.
depending where people are, sometimes people are a bit close. Sometimes when the so for me, like it was also getting new friends, getting new community, and people are
Yes.
open-minded, can talk. And since you mentioned the leadership, one thing came into my mind is that when we think about leadership, right, we usually think about, oh, I'm the leader, I give orders to people. But one of the things that I think that Toastmaster teaches is that when you go to that track of leadership, the first thing is actually they teach you how to serve, right? Doesn't it?
Yes.
How to serve
Absolutely.
first people, how you serve people, then you once you understand that, then you can share that responsibility with others. It's not about giving
Yes.
orders, it's about being a leader, right? In that regard. So it's a very
Well,
beautiful organization.
uh, I think I kind of misspoke when I said just give orders. I'm just saying like how do you get people to just follow you and
There you
just
go. Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
and and how can you be like I'm in charge? And I do like agree with you. Like being a great leader mean that you first be a great server to the people like around you.
Absolutely.
And a, a great leader is not just a person who just dictate how things are, but a person who provides their people with the tools and the opportunities that they can achieve the works or the vision that the which the leader has in mind.
Exactly. I mean, this is why I think we both know the value. I mean, you've been much longer than me. And I think I also vouch for the organization. It's a non-profit organization. If anybody wants to improve their speaking skills, leadership skills, they want to get the new people, and I think a really great place to be. So
Yes.
for Brother Mohammed, this has been, I think now it's, as you said, it's a part of your life, right? You're also club president. You get
Yes.
to work every day. So like, it means like you still go every week. You still go. Like my question is like, what makes you like to come back to the Toastmasters day, like week after week, month after month, in your case, year after year? What is it that you makes you stick there?
Uh, well, when you get to like if you find the club that you really feel, I mean, just kind of comfortable with. After a while, you start to feel like the club members, not just members of the club, that it's like they feel like a second family to you. And just going to these meetings for me just became like a haven, like an escape for me, where I can get to do the one thing that I love, not just the speaking but like just to be with the people that I feel who could understand me and I would understand them. And I promise you, when you find a club that you feel really close to and just connected to, you're gonna have the same feeling too. Like they are the second family to you. And also at the same time, they help you to just kind of grow. I know I've been in Toastmaster for 13 years now, and a lot of people say, well, you know what, you're already a world champion and you already got everything out of it. Why are you still there? Well, I'm still there because the best feeling in the world is not you achieving something, but knowing that you actually helped someone else to achieve something of their own. Acquiring knowledge is one thing, but like being able to transfer the knowledge to someone else is a whole new like feeling. So
Absolutely.
that's what that's actually the reason why I still go to these clubs. Is I'm coaching people, I'm helping people. If somebody else can achieve a higher purpose in their lives just because of something that I did, it makes me feel like my life has a meaning or has a value, that it wasn't just me or it wasn't just for me. I was able to help other people to become a better version of who they are.
Beautiful, beautiful. So for you, it was not about the trophy, it's about the journey. It's not about the destination,
Yes,
it's about the journey. Beautiful.
yes,
Um, so let's get back to that. In 2015, as you said, you won the championship. Let's talk about
yeah.
that speech. Tell us how that speech came about. Was it your, because as you know, and the Toastmasters, when you are competing for that, you have to prepare your speech. Was it the first speech you prepared, or you changed along the way? And the next question would be probably, how did this speech came about? Tell us more about the backstory of that speech, if you don't mind.
Well, when you enter the competition, you first compete on your club level. So you compete with other members of your club, and if you win, you qualify to the next level, which is I think the area level. And if you qualify, you compete. So it's like it's a bunch of levels
District
that you have to
level,
go
and
through.
instead it goes up. Yeah, I
So,
remember.
yeah. So that year, 2015, I made it to the like district level, which is the one level before the international level, and our like district was all the clubs in Saudi Arabia. And when I competed, I actually did not win.
Hmm.
I got second place that year, but I was happy and I was content and everything. But then 2 weeks before the finals, which is supposed to be taking place in Las Vegas in the United States, I received a phone call from the guy who won the championship in Saudi Arabia, and he
Hmm.
told me that he had an emergency and he cannot make it, so he's
Oh,
gonna drop. And since I'm the second place winner, I get to take that slot. But it's only 2 weeks left, and I haven't prepared anything, and I'm not ready. And I thought into myself, I'm not gonna go there and make a fool out of myself. And I was about to even back out myself because I said, you know what, it's a great opportunity, but I'm not really just ready for it. But to my luck, the same day it was my club meeting, and I was attending the club meeting, and I would just, in my mind, I'm just thinking about that phone call. And at the end, my club president at the time, she came to me and she asked, Mohammed, are you okay? You seem, you're out of place. And so I told her about the phone call and that the first place winner dropped out. Now they want me to go, but I'm not
hmm.
really ready. So I think I'm going to drop too. And then she told me something I would never forget. She said, in every person's life, some chances will come only once.
That's true.
And if you don't grab it, it may not come back again. And when such chances come, even though if you're not ready, just say yes. Don't
Mashallah,
let
it's
it slip
beautiful.
away.
It's beautiful.
She said, don't let it slip away because it may not come back again. So I said yes, but I still don't have an idea for a speech yet. And I wanted something that, is worthy of that level.
Hmm.
So I kept on thinking and trying to just, squeeze my brain just to come up with something, but nothing just comes out, like inspiration did not hit me yet. Until one day I was at work with a colleague of mine, and we stepped outside to have a smoke. And while we were outside, this old man passed by us and he looked at us and he said, guys, what are you guys doing? You guys still young and you smoking. Do you know, like, why are you killing yourself at this age or whatever? And I felt kind of ashamed and I was about to throw the cigarette away. But then my friend looked at him and he said, actually said, that's not true. In fact, there isn't one single medical journal or medical research that proves there is a link between smoking and cancer or heart disease or lung disease or any of that stuff. So the guy looked confused and he was like, then why is it written on the pack of cigarettes, this causes cancer or like whatever? And my friend said, do you know how much money the tobacco companies make? If they were making that much money without any restrictions, they're going to control the world. This is all just politics. They don't want the tobacco company to have that much power.
I see.
So, and the guy said, wow, I did not know that. And he walked off. And I'm looking at my friend, I'm shocked too. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't know that either. And my friend looked at me and he said, I just made it up.
I see.
But what shocked me is if this guy could convince a person that smoking is harmless, which we all know it's actually is harmless, but he was able to convince this person that smoking is harmless just by the way he spoke the words, then what else you can do with words? And that's where the idea of the speech came. And I started writing and I started, okay, what this is like, this is really the message that I wanted to give. So I started writing and correcting it, and then I thought, what other story I can include, and then I include the story of my kid who's writing on the wall, and then I remember the story. It didn't happen to me personally, but it happened to a friend of mine, and he told me about the story of his friend who got into drugs and alcohol until he finally died of overdose just because his dad told him once that he wasn't able to express how proud he is. So I decided to use that story, but I thought if I said a friend of mine told me the story, it's not going to add much like a strength into the speech. So I made it sound like the story happened to me. So the story is real, but it did not happen to me like personally. Yes.
So it was a friend of a friend, not your first, not the first degree, but the second degree.
Exactly. Yes.
Gotcha.
So the story is actually true, but if I said on stage, a friend of mine told me the story, then
it was
not
like
going
a
to be as
distance.
strong.
I understand.
Exactly. So I used the story and I made it sound like it happened to me. And
beautiful.
But the end of the day is what the message is.
Yes.
The message is that this man was too busy to tell his son that he was proud of him, and look what that caused this son. Just look at the consequences of what that old man said. And it's a message that I still truly believe in. Like, whatever you say to people, for you it might just be words that you toss around, or you didn't really care much of it, but you don't know who is in the receiving end. It might be the one thing that that person has been waiting for you to say, or it might be the reason that that person's soul has been crushed. And for you as a speaker, as I said, it's just words that you throw around and you might not even pay like much attention to. I remember in 2017, I went to visit my parents in my hometown, and I was at a gas station, and I was trying to fill my car with gas, and I looked across, and I saw this old man. He was walking on a cane, and when I looked closer, I recognized him. It was the teacher who told me that there is no hope out of me.
Wow, really?
Yes. And I thought to myself, you know what? It's been so long, let me just go and say hi. So I went to him and I shook his hand and I said, do you know who I am? And he said, yes, I've seen you on the news and on YouTube, and I'm so proud of you. And so, and I said, well, thank you, sir. I just want to say that I forgive you. And he said, for what? And I said, when I was in first grade and you slapped my face and then you told me there is no hope out of me. And he looked at me confused and he said, son, I don't remember. The next year, I was giving a lecture in I'm in like Saudi Arabia. And after I finished speaking and I stepped off the stage, and people were just coming to me, shaking my hands, whatever. And I see this guy in the crowd
They're the
walking
same
towards me.
teacher. Same teacher.
What?
Is it the same teacher or someone else?
No, no,
Another
no.
guy.
This is
Okay,
yeah.
another guy.
So another story. This is like a year after.
Okay.
I was speaking on stage, then I stepped down, and I've seen people coming to me, shaking my hands, whatever. And then I see this guy in the crowd, and he's walking towards me. And when I looked closer, again, I recognized him.
Hmm.
And it was the student who told me to stand in front of the school and speak.
That's true. That's true.
And I shook his hand and I said, I want to thank you. And he said, for what? I said, I want to thank you for the advice that you gave me to stand in front of the crowd and start speaking, because I am here today because of that advice. And he looked at me confused and he said, I don't remember.
Wow.
So you see, in both cases, a person was able to crush a little kid's soul for 12 years. And there's another person who saved someone's life. And in both cases, they don't remember. So, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you say, you're not going to remember later on. But who knows? Maybe years from now, somebody will come to you and say, thank you for saving my life because of something that you said. And then you think to yourself, I honestly don't remember.
Or they may say, I forgive you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, look, that's a beautiful story. And what I'm saying is that when you said about the power of words, I mean, that had the power of words, right? Like your first year teacher that exactly said that. I mean, as you said, for sometimes it's just so easy to utter a word without even thinking twice. And
yeah,
for someone else, it could be years of agony, years of imprisonment, especially
absolutely.
in mental imprisonment, right? That's beyond imagination. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you. So one of the questions when I said I'm going to interview you, I asked the people, and some people asked, "Is the story true?" Now we have the answer to that. Yes, the story is true. The second question was that if do you remember that when the father says, "Son, I'm busy," right? Son, I'm busy. That's the word that crushed the guy. So that what the person was asking, if that is the worst word, what could be the best word in your opinion? What could it be? Maybe it's not the word, it's something else. Like, how would you say that? What would it be? Because as a speaker, if you're speaking to a lot of people.
Well, I mean, if I put myself in the shoes of the father, and let's say for a fact that I was actually like busy, and then I received this phone call, and then my son told me that he got A's in all of his exams. Yes, maybe I have to go, and I cannot really speak much, or I speak longer, but I need to make him feel that even though I'm busy, you still matter, or you're still important. So I would say, son, you have no idea how proud I am of you. Let me take care of something real quick, then I'll call you back. So what I would do first is I would tell him that I'm so proud of him. And then I will indicate to him that I'm working on something right now, but I'm going to get back to you and call you back, and we can celebrate this properly. Instead of just saying, like I'm busy, or like I don't have the time.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the care, isn't it? It's not about the
Yes.
words, it's about the care. Do we care about someone else?
People just want to, people just want to feel like other people are proud of them, or they care too much about them. And we may not share other people's passions, even those who are closer to us. If you look, for example, at your wife, or your brothers and sisters, each one of them has their own talents, and they have their own passions, or they have the thing that they're really passionate about. And for you, you may not understand it. You may not actually just get it. If, for example, a really dear friend of yours told you, you know what, I just sold a painting today for $500, for example. For you, it's all like, So I mean, like I'm like, what's the big deal, right? But to them, it might be the achievement that they've been working years and years and years to achieve. Again, for you, it might not mean anything, but just think about it might mean so much to them. So even if you don't care, you have to show them that you do. Tell them, wow, it's amazing. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm sure you can do more. So even though you don't get the passion that they have, but that's what you all just look for. We sadly we look for validation
That's
from
true.
other people before we even find the validation in like
In
ourselves.
ourselves. That's true.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So many good lessons, beautiful things. In terms of understanding in the language, or just something story came to my mind. I just recently was traveling to your land, actually, to Mecca and Medina. I was in Umrah with my mom.
Hmm.
The thing about my mom is that she is she's a very simple lady. She just speaks probably one language, my own language. I'm originally from Uzbekistan, if you know the country, from Imam
Yes.
Bukhari, Imam Tirmidhi. So she just speaks one language. Like I would go there sometimes to the haram, right? And they have to do tawaf. I have to leave it there, and I would come like she was talking to someone else. Like I come like, who are you talking to? I don't know. Like, and
Yeah.
she's talking to someone else. Like some kind of sometimes things like trying to do stuff like. I was so amazed. Like I was just say, you don't even know the language, but sometimes like that's what I'm saying. It's not about the words. It's about when you talk to people, when the people kind of know like your intention, sincere intention towards them. You want to do good, and they feel that the same way.
Absolutely.
Like in your being, you're against them and what they want to do. Even your words are nice, but what's in your heart, like sincerely, that just comes out. Sometimes subliminal, subconscious messages. And I think at the end of the day, what Brother Muhammad, what you're saying is it's about that care, right? It's about that moment we
Absolutely.
connect and time
Absolutely.
and space. Even now, we are connecting over the seas, but in a beautiful way. To be honest, I
I
didn't know.
always
I didn't know about this. That you actually started. I mean, that's for me like it's a shock, a surprise, but that's beautiful. What a beautiful thing to do, fighting that and going like as you said, like either diverge or going right and attacking it, and,
yes.
and actually doing it even now, even you after you won all this best things to do, it just proves me that it's not about the word, it's about this thing. You're gonna keep doing that,
I
and keep
uh,
helping
I
others as well.
I always say that there's nothing in this life that is impossible. The only thing that is impossible is what we convince ourselves with. And I always tell people if a child who couldn't speak his entire childhood can become the world champion of public speaking, if that is a lesson, is like nothing in this life is out of reach.
Beautiful.
We always complain and say, well, nobody believes in me. The question is, have you believed in yourself first?
Mhm.
So other people can actually believe in you. Because we are the one who puts the walls in front of us and tell ourselves this cannot be achieved, or this is too hard, or this is impossible. And then we complain that, you know what, nothing, nobody's helping me, nobody's standing by me. No, people will help you if you start to remove these walls first from your mind. Keep in mind, you're not going to make it from the first time. You're going to fall once and twice and 20 times and 30 times. And there are going to be moments when you crawl up in your living room on the floor crying, why I couldn't make it. But every time you fall is a lesson. When you try again, you're not going to repeat the same mistakes. You may make new mistakes, that's fine, but you're not going to repeat the same mistakes. So, in fact, you are one step closer. It might take months, it might take years. But if you are really passionate about what you're chasing after, God will make it happen.
Inshallah. That's a beautiful. So I would like the two questions. We'll end the session because I really
Yeah.
respect your time. It's also late in your end. The out of the questions asked, is there a question I didn't ask but you wish I had asked and would like to ask and respond to yourself?
Um, Not really, not that I can think of. I
That's
mean,
good.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think we just covered everything. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, that's good. And the last
Alhamdulillah.
question is, tell us where people can find you. Can people follow you to get to know you, to get to, if they wanted your activities, they want to hire you as a speaker, etc. What would be the best place to follow you and find you?
I am, well, I have my own website, which is www.qahtanispeaks.com.
Mhm.
I am also on Instagram at Qahtani_speaks. I'm on Twitter as well at MOHDQAHT. And my email is Mohammed at QahtaniSpeaks.com. I actually, if you put my name on Google, you can find all of my like details, and
That's beautiful.
I'll be more than happy to, like, my ultimate dream is to speak in every country in the world, because I really truly believe that in this entire world, everything that is wrong or everything that is right is only there only because the wrong person was given a chance to speak, or the right person was given a chance to speak. So if you think that you are the right person, if you really think that you can fix this world, don't give the wrong person a chance to say something.
Beautiful. Have you spoken in Canada?
Not yet. I would love to. I mean, like, I've been to Canada, but as a business trip, but I haven't spoken there. But it's one of my dream like destination. So it will be
So
an
let's
honor
make dua.
and a
Let's make
privilege.
dua. Let's
Yes,
make dua.
please, please
Let's make dua.
make it
Inshallah, we will
work.
invite you here.
Inshallah,
We will
bismillah.
discuss the details on the off the record. So thank you so much. Again, may Allah reward
You
you.
are
We're gonna put
most
all
welcome.
those links, and until we see you next time, say Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you so much for having me.